Have you ever wondered how an ice maker or a car winch can cost only a third of the market price? Welcome to the world of Vevor, a name that's becoming an obsession for traditional retailers from Home Depot to eBay. They appear everywhere, infiltrating every review video and dominating e-commerce sites with a single formula, unbelievably cheap. They sell products that are 30%, 50%, or even 70% cheaper than major brands. Same function. Let's design together. But the price is almost unbelievable. Sounds like the perfect shopping opportunity, but it could also be something that's not right. Because when you start digging deeper, you'll realize Vevor doesn't just sell cheap things. They are exploiting a gap in how the world of production and consumption operates, and the truth behind it can make you see all cheap items in a completely different way. Honestly, did you just scroll through TikTok last week and see some grandfather reviewing a juicer that looked pretty cool? Or yesterday, I went to Amazon looking for a tow winch for my pickup truck, and in your eyes, it was so cheap it startled me. That's right, that orange-red logo, Vevor. They didn't fall from the sky. Vevor started as a ghost on eBay, then swept across Amazon, and now TikTok Shop. And that's not all. They're encroaching on retail cathedrals like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. You can't escape them. Looking at Vevor's product catalog, I swear I felt dizzy. Typically, a company will specialize in electrical or mechanical products, right? But Vevor. Do you need a drill? Have restaurant kitchen appliances? Yes, always. Lawnmowers, farming equipment, no shortage. Even industrial endoscopes or milling machine graduated scales, Vevor has run out of bids. At this point, the question is no longer, what does Vevor sell furthermore? But also, is there any monstrous thing in the world that they don't sell? I bet if you want to buy a cow milking machine with built-in laser positioning, Vevor will ship it to your home within 3 days. Now, for the painful part of this wallet, look at the price. While Milwaukee or DeWalt charge you $300 for an item, Vevor comes along as a savior at the cost of $80. Being 50% cheaper is normal. Some items are as cheap as 1/3 or even 1/5 of the market price. How could that be? That was the first thing I exclaimed when I saw their ultrasonic washer. You tell yourself, oh well, if something this cheap breaks, throw it away. Buying a new one is still a good deal. But wait, snap out of it a bit. Do you feel like you're part of a massive social experiment? Are we being surrounded by thousands of identical designer products that cost as much as a serving of fried chicken? It gives me a virtual sense of power. Oh, I could even buy a professional workshop for a ridiculously cheap price, but cheap goods are junk, or are other big players eating too much? Or is there really some ugly truth hidden beneath that orange powder coating? Looks like a paradise for DIYers. But trust me, that cheap price doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It comes at the cost of things that you certainly wouldn't want to know about. Wait, if you find anything like this conspiracy theory interesting, remember to subscribe to the channel so you can watch me expose the whole thing later. Not registering means missing out on a harsh expose about the quality inside the Vevor machine. So how did they manage to pay that price? Where does the secret lie? Let's take a closer look at the inside of the intestine together. I must emphasize this to you. Don't let the manufacturer label fool you. Now let's be honest, do you think Vevor is a company with engineers in white blouses sitting in fancy labs researching drills or ovens? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, you've hit their trick. The truth is, Vevor doesn't produce anything at all. Sounds a bit bitter, doesn't it? But that's 100% true. In the professional world, we call it the OEMODM, or most practically, white label model. To put it simply, there are thousands of factories across the border producing no-name machines. Vevor just took a wad of cash, knocked on the door, and said, hey, put my orange logo on here, put a nice box in, I'm going to bid. Now please remember this sentence for me. Vevor doesn't build products from scratch. They build a cheap consolidation system and then put their name on it. They were like a giant with thousands of octopus tentacles, each plugged into a different factory. Factory A makes air compressors. Factory B makes decal cutting machines. Factory C makes shopping carts. Vevor simply stands in the middle, coordinating and pushing the goods onto Amazon. Why can they make it so cheaply and mindlessly? The secret lies in the production clusters. Industrial clusters. Imagine there are cities where the entire region only does one thing right, for example, screws or pistons. Components, logistics, labor. All within a radius of a few kilometers. Natural production costs evaporate by 50% to 80% compared to DeWalt or Milwaukee, having to maintain an entire cumbersome R&D machine in the US or Europe. This is a true story. A factory had a surplus of 10,000 ice makers because its former partner canceled the contract. Vevor appeared, bought it outright at a ridiculously low price, and uploaded it to TikTok Shop with a stunning review clip. If you think it's cheap, you buy it. It broke after you used it for 6 months. Are you planning to fix it? Oh no, the labor costs are more expensive than buying a new machine, so you throw it in the trash and go online and buy a newer, different Vevor model. That loop continues like that. Vevor isn't a brand. They're more like a giant distribution machine that cleans up warehouses for factories and turns industrial waste into high-end items in your garage. Hearing this, are you starting to feel any ripples? Is it really economical for us to contribute to this loop, or are we bringing trouble upon ourselves by bringing these machines of unknown origin home? And here's the final answer: when everything is handled by white label, who will be responsible when that machine breaks down, or more ironically, when it catches fire? Before we delve into the more frightening part, the inside and safety, anyone who sees this information breaking down into many things should press the register button and ring the ringer immediately. I made this video not to belittle anyone, but so that my brothers and I can buy things with our cold heads, not with hot wallets. Now let's pick up the mannequin and move on to the next part, peeling back the actual quality. Is it as durable as rumored? Trust me, you guys will definitely be surprised. Come on, I bet 90% of the guys here, when they click to buy a vacuum sealer or a Vevor hex wrench set, mutter a mantra to themselves. Well, at this price, there's nothing to complain about, for the price can't explain. Right? Don't deny it. That very mindset is the gold mine Vevor is digging deeper and deeper into. But let's pause for a moment and ask the question, why are they so cheap despite even being such established companies? Couldn't those big players eat that much? Actually, the answer lies in an extremely cruel number game. You have to understand this. In industrial clusters on the Chinese side, factories are always operating at overcapacity. The machinery is assembled, the labor is ready, and if the machine stops running, they'll have a hole. So they produced indiscriminately. Vevor appeared as a savior, scavenging up the surplus goods at a ridiculously low price, only slightly above the cost of the raw materials. Vevor doesn't play the game of eating thickly on each product like Milwaukee does. Milwaukee has to bear the costs of warranty research branding. And what about Vevor? They accept slim profit margins, even as low as a few percent per item, but in return they sell with a huge volume quantity. They don't make money selling a fancy machine. They make money selling millions of cheap machines. $1 in profit multiplied by 1 million sales is still a huge amount of money, right? And here's the ugly truth. Ugly fact. Vevor knows perfectly well that their products have a significantly higher defect rate, but they also know that at that price you'll be too lazy to complain. You know, that's the catchphrase. If it breaks, throw it away, buy another one. Yours is what sustains the Vevor empire. They are turning items that should last 10 years into part-time items. They don't sell you a durable tool of labor. They sell you a makeshift solution wrapped in a flashy shell. Do you see yourself in that story? Have you ever clicked your tongue and bought a Vevor item just because it was a quarter as cheap as the real thing, even knowing full well it could be a fake at any moment? But that click of our tongue is creating something that few people notice. It's not just a waste of money, but about the actual quality inside something we can't see with the naked eye unless we dissect it. Do you think what you said hit you in the heart? If you win, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help me raise funds to buy some more Vevor and destroy them for the guys to watch. Not registering means I have no motivation to perform disembowelment on them. Now get ready. We're going to delve deeper into the unbelievable facts about the components and metallurgy inside Vevor. Don't take your eyes off this because it's something that directly determines your wallet and even your safety. Okay, Let's play a game together. It's called the Vevor Lottery. You go online and read the comments and you'll see two extremely opposing extremes. On one side, I swear this machine has lasted 3 years and hasn't broken down yet. It's awesome. On the other side, as soon as it was plugged in, it exploded like fireworks. You think you lean more towards one side. But let me tell you this, both sides are telling the truth. Vevor's problem is that they don't have what's called consistent quality control QC. Since they import goods from thousands of different factories, how can they manage it? A shipment today might use high-quality copper components, but tomorrow's shipment will be out of stock. They'll replace them with copper-plated aluminum, which is normal. That's why I said, when you click to buy a Vevor item, you're not buying a product. You're buying a probability. You're betting on whether your dignity is good today enough to win the usable machine. Would anyone dare bet their family's safety on a cheap air compressor? I disagree. Now let's talk about this more wallet-damaging thing, batteries. If you use Milwaukee, buying one M18 battery will last for hundreds of machines. Happy, right? But what about Vevor? Oh no, they have 4 to 5 different battery systems. They're both Vevor drills, but the one I bought last month doesn't fit the one I bought next month. It doesn't have a single homogeneous ecosystem. Why? Because each of those machines came from a different OEM factory. Each guy made a different type of connector. There's one thing I advise you guys to remember. You think you're buying cheap tools. In reality, you're locking yourself in a cave from which you don't even know the way out. After buying the device, the battery failed, so you went to look for a replacement. Good luck, because Vevor himself might not even know where the factory that made that battery is now. Okay, there's another thing about Vevor that's also causing a lot of debate. It's after-sales policy. Suppose your $200 ice maker rolls out and dies after 51 hours of use, just after the warranty expired, for example. What do? Of course, call a hotline the way you would with other stores, but instead of a sweet voice answering you, what you get is the subscriber you just called is currently busy forever. What about finding replacement parts yourself? Forget it, Vevor does not sell spare parts. They didn't have circuit diagrams, no replacement gears. Their philosophy is simple. If it breaks, throw it away. For them, building a global warranty system is too expensive. It would immediately destroy that cheap price. So the problem isn't that the machine is broken, but that when it breaks, you're all alone in the midst of a myriad of changes. Nobody is there to help you. You are the maintenance engineer, the waste collector, and the one who always incurs losses. I know after hearing this, you guys will say, you get what you pay for, but are you tired of constantly buying and buying this industrial waste? Has anyone here ever been attacked by Vevor Ghost? Or is there anyone who can win the jackpot and use it forever without breaking it? Let's just drop a comment below. I believe the upcoming comments will burn out even more than that short-circuited Vevor drill. Now that we've said all the downsides of Vevor, the final question is, should we ever buy Vevor, and how do you survive with it? Let's continue. We've talked about Vevor's drawbacks so far, but why do so many people still buy it? Do Vevor buyers really understand what they're buying? Yes, I do. They even knew perfectly well that the heat press or winch could malfunction at any moment. So why is Vevor's sales still skyrocketing? It's simple. People don't buy Vevor because they trust it. They buy it because they don't have enough money for peace of mind. Let's look at the facts. You're a DIY weekend craftsman, and all you need to do is cut a few pieces of wood to make a kitchen shelf. Would you be willing to spend $500 on a fancy Bosch table cutter, or would you choose the $120 Vevor machine to get the immediate problem done? For many people, Vevor is not a brand, it's a financial decision. It's a trade-off between the risk of failure and budgetary pressure right now. We are living in an era where disposable items have spread to heavy machinery as well. But this is what gave me goosebumps while writing this script. The scariest thing isn't Vevor growing, but the whole world becoming Vevor. Have you noticed that other major companies are also starting to cut costs, use more plastic, and remove components to compete on price? Vevor is like a mirror reflecting the deterioration of global manufacturing standards. We are accepting a world where industrial waste is prioritized over sustainability simply to satisfy the need for immediate, inexpensive waste. Now let me ask you an honest question. Do you prefer a world where things last a lifetime, or a world where you can buy everything for the price of a few meals but have to throw it in the trash after a year? Just think, are we saving money or paying the price with the future of this planet? Don't turn off the engine yet, because the final part will show you how to survive if you accidentally fall into the Vevor pit, which items to buy, and which items you absolutely must dodge to save your life. If you see that this viewing angle is touching the right itchy spot, then click subscribe to which channel. I don't need millions of views, I just need some skilled workers with clear minds. Now let's get to the most practical part. When should you close the deal with Vevor, and when should you run away immediately? Okay, let's go. Okay, now for the most important part, not theory, no drama. The truth is, should you buy Vevor? The answer is neither yes nor no. It depends. But you have to know what you're doing. I have a golden rule for you guys to survive in this Vevor ecosystem. Listen carefully. First, when should we finalize the deal? Buy Vevor if the item is something you'll use a few times and then put away, or something less important. For example, you might need a shopping cart to clear out the storage on weekends, or a gardening kit for your wife to grow some fun houseplants. If these things break, then so be it. It won't affect anyone. Or maybe they're DIY items for personal preference, the kind I try to figure out. If you don't intend to use it for your daily livelihood, and if it suddenly dies on a beautiful day and you still think it's okay, then just keep Vevor growing. It's cheap, just like the tuition fee for the experience. So when should you run away? Avoid Vevor like you would avoid evil spirits if it were a money-making tool for work, or a safety-related device. Just think you're an electrician working for a client and your Vevor drill is smoking. Where's your face? Or more dangerously, things like car jacks, air compressors, or winch cables. Never take your life and bet on Vevor's probability. At that point, the price of 1/3 of the market value was meaningless when you had to be hospitalized or compensate customers. A simple shopping rule is, if the item breaks your life is fine, then buy Vevor. If it breaks down and you're ruined or lose your career, then absolutely not. And one final piece of tough advice: avoid Vevor's battery-powered machines if you plan on building a long-term crafting system. Trust me, holding 3 devices with 3 different charging pins in your hands is an extremely depressing feeling. Choose dishes that use 220 volts electricity or purely mechanical appliances. At least when it breaks down, we'll have a way to make porridge again. Vevor isn't a bad equivalent, but it's not an angel either. It's just one tool in this new economy. Hopefully after this clip, the team has a clearer view so they don't lose money unnecessarily. I'm also curious to know if you guys have ever bought any Vevor items that haven't broken yet. Or is it true that someone who opens a box wants to throw it in the trash immediately because it's unbelievably fake? And most importantly, at a price 1/3 of the market price, are you willing to make another trade-off to buy them again? Please pour all your feelings or satisfaction into the comments below. I'll sit here, read each comment, and continue analyzing with my colleagues. If you find this practical, unpretentious approach of yours appealing, don't forget to click subscribe to the channel. A click from you guys is what motivates me to keep disemboweling other giants in the future. It's worth noting that the information shared in this video is based entirely on personal experience, real-world experiences in my garage, and technical documentation I've gathered. I don't accept any advertising co-payments from Vevor or any of their competitors to sabotage or flatter them. Your winch might be broken, but yours will last 10 years, that's normal. Therefore, consider this a reference source to help you make your own final purchasing decisions. I'm not responsible if you guys win the jackpot for defective items. Laughs. Thank you guys for sitting with me in the garage just now. I hope you all choose the perfect item without having to exclaim, "if only." See you in the next video.